Is the 7 last years of transgression upon us? Let's examine God's prophetic puzzle by connecting Daniel's prophecy to John's, Micah's, and Isaiah's. Are we to search for the signs of the time? What did Jesus command us about the signs of the time? We do not know the day nor the hour, but we are provided the signs to know and to keep watch. In Luke 12:54-56, then he said also to the people, when ye see a cloud rise out of the west, straightway ye say, there cometh a shower, and so it is. And when ye see the south wind blow, ye say, there will be heat, and it cometh to pass. Ye hypocrites, ye can discern the face of the sky and of the earth, but how is it that ye do not discern this time? And we also read the judgment on Jerusalem in Luke 19:41-44 for no discernment. And when he was come near, he beheld the city, and wept over it, saying, if thou hast known, even thou, at least in this thy day, the things which belong unto thy peace. But now they are hid from thine eyes. For the day shall come upon thee, that thine enemies shall cast a trench about thee, and compass thee round, and keep thee in on every side, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not leave in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. We will now start to unscramble God's prophetic words from his prophets. Those were words spoken of through his prophets more than thousands of years ago. It was precepts upon precepts, line upon line, here a little, there a little, and only until now are we able to go to and fro to connect the words from his prophets. Our first reading is from Daniel 9:24-27. This provides us with a good overview of God's prophetic clock upon his people and upon his holy city. God also left us with puzzle pieces to connect to the words of his other prophets, as well as milestones for us to verify the signs of our time. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city, to finish the transgression and to make an end of sins, and to make reconciliation for iniquity, and to bring in everlasting righteousness, and to seal up the vision and prophecy, and to anoint the most holy. Know therefore and understand that from the going forth of the commandment to restore and to build Jerusalem unto the Messiah the Prince shall be 7 weeks, and 62 weeks. The street shall be built again, and the wall even in troublous times. And after 62 weeks shall Messiah be cut off, but not for himself. And the people of the prince that shall come shall destroy the city and the sanctuary, and the end thereof shall be with the flood. And unto the end of the war desolations are determined. And he shall confirm the covenant with many for 1 week. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and the oblation to cease. And for the overspreading of abominations he shall make it desolate, even until the consummation, and that determined shall be poured upon the desolate. Notice the bold and highlighted words. From the last reading, we picked up Messiah be cut off as our first puzzle piece. Now the connecting is in Micah 5:2-3. But thou, Bethlehem Ephratah, though thou be little among the thousands of Judah, yet out of thee shall he come forth unto me, that is to be ruler in Israel, whose going forth have been from of old, from everlasting. Therefore will he give them up, until the time that she which travaileth hath brought forth. Then the remnant of his brethren shall return unto the children of Israel. The puzzle piece we picked up from Micah is she which travaileth. Now that takes us to Isaiah 66, 7 through 11, as well as Revelation 12. Isaiah 66, 7 through 11. Before she travaileth, she brought forth. Before her pain came, she was delivered of a man-child. Who hath heard such a thing? Who hath seen such a thing? Shall the earth be made to bring forth in one day? Or shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion travaileth, she brought forth her children. From the last puzzle piece, she which travaileth and brought forth a man-child, we make connection again in Revelation 12, 1 through 6. And there appeared a great wonder in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and upon her head a crown of 12 stars. And she, being with child, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. And there appeared another wonder in heaven, and behold, a great red dragon, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and 7 crowns upon his heads. And his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven, and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. And she brought forth a man-child, who was to rule all nations with a rod of iron. And her child was caught up unto God, and to his throne. And the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of God, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. Revelation 12 was a celestial sign observed on September 23, 2017. It is probably one of the most interesting chapters in the Bible. Not only did it provide us with a connecting puzzle piece, it might also be a possible pointer to the start of the last 7 years of transgression, aka tribulation, aka Jacob's trouble, to be completed by God's people and his holy city. Putting together what we've read from Daniel 9, Micah 5, Isaiah 66, and Revelation 12, we've learned that God has assigned a 70 weeks prophetic clock upon his people and upon his holy city to finish the transgression. Notice that it's not just upon his people, but also upon his holy city. And after 69 weeks, this prophetic clock will be put on a pause, as we were told that Messiah would be cut off in Daniel 9. And from Micah 5, we were also told that he will give them up until the time that she which travails has brought forth. This means that the prophetic clock would be unpaused when we see the sign of she which travails brought forth a man-child. This sign was observed on September 23, 2017. This might be a pointer for us to look for the actual trigger event in Daniel 9, as the Antichrist would be confirming a covenant with many for 7 years, for the last week or 7 years of transgression assigned to God's people and his holy city. We will be studying those in the following slides. Now, as for the fulfillment of the first 69 weeks, you can study, and I recommend you highly to study Chuck Missler's reading or teaching on Daniel 70 weeks video. He has a very detailed calendar of his calculation based on the days and based on observations and biblical backings that the start of the commandment to restore and build Jerusalem started on March 14th, 445 BC, unto Messiah the Prince was fulfilled when Jesus' triumphal entry into Jerusalem took place on April 6, 32 AD. Please study Chuck Missler's video titled Daniel's 70 Weeks. Revelation 12 sign should have alerted us to look for the next triggering event, and that is the Antichrist confirming the covenant with many for 1 week. Notice it's confirming the covenant, meaning the covenant already existed. And it may not be confirming a human covenant. I believe it might be confirming God's covenant with his people. The importance of Jerusalem becomes a critical detail for us to study. In Daniel 9:24, God talked about the holy city and his people being part of the total 70 weeks assigned for transgression. 70 weeks are determined upon thy people and upon thy holy city to finish transgression and to make an end of sins and to make reconciliation for iniquity and to bring in everlasting righteousness. Daniel 9:24. O Lord, hear, O Lord, forgive. O Lord, hearken and do, defer not, for thine own sake. O my God, for thy city and thy people are called by thy name. Daniel 9:19. As we have heard, so we have seen in the city of the Lord of hosts, in the city of our God. God will establish it forever. Shalah. Psalm 48:8. Behold, I will make Jerusalem a cup of trembling unto all the people round about, when they shall be in the siege both against Judah and against Jerusalem. And in that day I will make Jerusalem a burdensome stone for all people. All that burden themselves with it shall be cut in pieces, though all the people of the earth be gathered together against it. Zechariah 12:2-3. At that time they shall call Jerusalem the throne of the Lord, and all the nations shall be gathered unto it, to the name of the Lord, to Jerusalem. Neither shall they walk any more after the imagination of their evil heart. Jeremiah 3:17. Also the sons of those who afflicted you shall come bowing to you, and all those who despised you shall fall prostrate at the sole of your feet, and they shall call you the city of the Lord, Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Now God also talks about a new Jerusalem post the millennial reign. And we read, And I saw a new heaven and a new earth, for the first heaven and the first earth were passed away, and there was no more sea. And I, John, saw the holy city, New Jerusalem, coming down from God, out of heaven, prepared as a bride adorned for her husband. Revelation 21:1-2. And there came unto me one of the 7 angels, which had the 7 vials full of the 7 last plagues, and talked with me, saying, Come hither, I will show thee the bride, the Lamb's wife. And he carried me away in the spirit to a great and high mountain, and showed me that great city, the holy Jerusalem, descending out of heaven from God. Revelation 21:9-10. And lastly, and to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, behold, I come quickly. Hold that fast which thou hast, that no man take thy crown. Him that overcomes will I make a pillar in the temple of my God, and he shall go no more out. And I will write upon him the name of my God, and the name of the city of my God, which is New Jerusalem, which cometh down out of heaven from my God. And I will write upon him my new name. If Jerusalem is indeed God's covenant to be confirmed, then there are two possible confirmation dates. On December 6, 2017, Donald Trump confirmed Jerusalem as the eternal capital of Israel. U.S. Embassy was moved to Jerusalem on May 14, 2018. So we'll watch these 2 days prayerfully.
In December of last year, President Trump announced to the world that the United States would finally recognize the truth, that Jerusalem is the capital of Israel. He also declared that we would soon move our embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem, and just 5 months later, we are standing on these grounds. While presidents before him have backed down from their pledge to move the American embassy once in office, this president delivered. Because when President Trump makes a promise, he keeps it.
With God's prophetic clock resuming for his people and his holy city to complete the remaining 7 years of transgression triggered by the Antichrist, confirming the covenant with many for 1 week. We'll now look at 2 scriptures describing the Antichrist. In Revelation 6:2, as Jesus opens the first seal on the scroll, we read, "And I saw, and behold, a white horse, and he that sat on him had a bowl, and a crown was given unto him, and he went forth conquering and to conquer." At a first glance, I thought the bowl was the weapon, bow and arrow. But a more careful study of the scripture rendered another definition. A bowl is also defined as a covenant in Genesis 9:13. And God said, "This is the token of the covenant which I make between me and you and every living creature that is with you for perpetual generations. I do set my bowl in a cloud, and it shall be for a token of a covenant between me and the earth." So the Antichrist could effectively be holding a covenant and went forth conquering and to conquer. As we continue our reading in Revelation 13, 1 through 5, we learn that the Antichrist received his power from the dragon. The dragon appeared in Revelation 12. He gave Antichrist his power, his seat, and great authority. And power was given unto the Antichrist for 3.5 years. And I stood upon the sand of the sea, and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the name of blasphemy. And the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power, and his seat, and great authority. And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast. And they worshipped the dragon which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast? Who is able to make war with him? And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given unto him to continue 42 months. Now we'll tie everything together for the last 7 years. The Women in Travails was observed on September 23, 2017. We also know Israel must become a nation in 1 day, as it was foretold by Isaiah. Before she was in labor, she gave birth. Before her pain came, she delivered a male child. Who has heard such a thing? Shall a nation be born at once? For as soon as Zion was in labor, she gave birth to her children. Rejoice with Jerusalem. Isaiah 66, 7 through 11. This prophecy came to pass on May 14, 1948, when Israel became a nation in one day. If Jerusalem is indeed the covenant, then the confirmation took place on either December 6, 2017, when it was confirmed by Donald Trump that Jerusalem is the eternal capital of Israel, or it was confirmed on May 14, 2018, by Jared Kushner at the opening ceremonies of the moving of U.S. Embassy. We also learned that in Revelation 12, after the dragon was cast to the earth by Michael, he will persecute the women. The woman was protected for 3.5 years. And then the dragon saw that he was cast unto the earth. He persecuted the women which brought forth the male child. And to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might fly into the wilderness, into the place where she is nourished for a time and times and half a time from the face of the serpent. Then in Revelation 13, the dragon gives his power and authority to the Antichrist for 3.5 years. And the beast, Antichrist, which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him power and his seat and great authority. And power was given unto him to continue 42 months. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints, and to overcome them. And power was given him over all kindreds and tongues and nations. Revelation 13, 2-7. Does it look like we're already in the last 7 years? In the next 2 short videos, we will just look at the prophetic word puzzles to connect God's 70 weeks prophetic clock. If indeed we're in the last 7 years of transgression, are you ready to face Jesus? Throughout the letter to the 7 angels of the 7 churches, Jesus commanded us to hold fast to his teaching and to overcome. And in Revelation 12:9, he told us what to overcome and how to overcome. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil and Satan, which deceiveth the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, Now is come salvation and strength and the kingdom of God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their lives unto the death. Are you ready to finish the race with me? See you at the finishing line.